Hey everyone. Okay, so tonight's homework, this is going to be for period 2, which is Mrs. Van Ness's class. Okay, and you were doing the odd numbers. You were just doing 3, 5, 7, 9, and 11. So some had already completed it because you did all of them. So you had no homework for this evening, so congratulations. Others had not, and some of you didn't even do last night's homework, so I suggest that you go back on the video from yesterday so that you can understand it. You do have a unit assessment that is 2 weeks from today, and so you need to know these items because they're going to be on the benchmark at the end of January, as well as STAR testing, which is April 11th. So you have benchmark, which is January 30th, and you have STAR test April 11th. So there's a lot of work to do between now and then. So let's get started. We were talking about 1/6 plus 3/4. And so some of you were still having some trouble finding the common denominator. So I'm going to do my work on this paper so that I can keep everything where they need to be. Okay, so I have 1/6 plus 3/4. All right, I'm going to make, we were talking about taking a portion of our multiplication chart is all we're doing, and then drawing it out. So I'm going to number my columns, and that's probably too many numbers, but it's okay. I'm going to circle my denominators. I'm going to put my 6 here and then my 4 here. So I know that 6, I'm going to skip count, or I can multiply. 6 times 2 is 12. Well, I'm going to wait for just a second, because I know that if I do 4 times 2, that's 8. 4 times 3, that's 12. I just found my least common multiple, my LCM, which is 12. It'll also be my lowest common denominator, which is 12. So here is my new denominator. It's 12. Do I have any denominators over here that are 12? No, so I need to change those. So now I have 1/6. Stretch that out. I'm going to put my multiplication, because I need to change it to a 12. 6 times 1 equals 12. Well, I already know 6 goes into 12 2 times. Now 6 times 2 is 12. We talked about today how we had to have whatever we do to our denominator, we had to do to our numerator. So I'm going to multiply that by 2. 1 times 2 is 2. So there is my new equivalent fraction. Now I'm going to my 3/4. And I know that I need to change that to a 12 as well. 4 goes into 12 3 times. So I know that's 4 times 3 equals 12. 3 times 3 equals 9. And there's my new fraction, which is my equivalent. So now I can add these together, and here's my new equation. I have 2 12s. So my 1/6 was changed to a 2 12s. My 3/4 was changed to a 9 12s. They both have the same denominator. When I'm adding fractions or subtracting, my denominator stays the same. 2 plus 9 is 11. And so my answer is 11 12ths. So I'm going to place that over here. Okay. Oops, there you go. It's 11 12ths. Let's move over to number 5. 1/2 plus 2/5. Moving 5 over here. Of 1/2 plus 2/5. Okay, so can you figure out what their lowest common denominator would be? Well, here I have a 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and 5, 10. Yeah, so my lowest common denominator would be 10. So to move that, and if you're having trouble, formulate your box, or create your box, not formulate, but create your box. Make your columns. It's just like a multiplication chart. Label your columns, just like your multiplication chart. Circle your denominators, and then put the 2 and the 5 in. And so I have, skip counting, 2, 4, 6, 8, and 10. Okay? 2 times 2 is 4. 6. 4 times 2 is 8. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 2 is 10. And there is my lowest common denominator. Okay, so I'm going to bring down my 1/2. I need to multiply that by something because I'm going to change my denominator to 10. 2 times 5 is 10 because 2 goes into 10 5 times. And 1 times 5 is 5. There is my new fraction. My 2/5. I'm going to multiply those by something. My new denominator is 10. 5 goes into 10 2 times. So 5 times 2 is 10. Remember, we're doing the same thing. I'm sorry about that. We're doing the same thing. So now 2 times 2 is 4. I have 5/10 plus 4/10 equals 9/10. And there is my answer. So 5 over here is 9/10. Let's look at number 7. 1/3 plus 5/6. I have 1/3 plus 5/6. Well, I know that 3 times 2 is 6, so I won't need to do anything here to this denominator, so that's going to stay the same. So I'm going to change this one. I know it needs to be multiplied by something because my new denominator is going to be 6. So here I have 3 times 2 equals 6, and 1 times 2 equals 2. Whatever I do to my denominator, I need to do the same thing to my numerator. This is my new equivalent fraction. So now I have 6, so it's going to be my 1/3 was changed to 6, plus my 5/6 equals 7/6. Well, look at this, though. 6 over 6 is 1 whole, so this is greater than 1. Now, I showed you in your notes what you can do, but you can also do, if you have 6 over 6 plus what over 6 will equal 7/6. Well, 6 plus what equals 7? 1. So now look at this. You have 1 whole plus 1/6 will equal 1 and 1/6, and that is your answer. So that is another strategy that you can use to solve your problem. So you have, this is 7/6 or 1 and 1/6. Check my work. I multiply 6 times 1 equals 6 plus my 1 equals 7, and that'll be my 7/6. My answer is correct. Look at number 9. I have 1/8 plus 3/4. What do you think my common denominator is going to be? Yeah, it's going to be 8. Because 8 is the greatest common denominator you can have there with your 4. Okay, because 4 times 2 is 8. So this is going to stay the same. I'm going to change my 3/4. I'm going to put my multiplication sign, draw my fraction bar, and I'm going to put an 8 here. And now I know 4 times 2 equals 8. 3 times 2 equals 6. I have my new fraction. So my 1/8 plus my 3/4 was changed to a 6/8 equals 7/8. And so number 9 is 7/8. And the last one that you need to do tonight, that was 7/8. There you go. Last one is 5/6 plus 1/12. You already know what your denominator will be. Yeah, it's going to be 12. This will stay the same. I'm going to change my 5/6. Multiplication sign equals, I know it's going to be 12. So 6 times 2 equals 12 is 5 times 2 equals 10. So now I'm going to make my new equation, and I'm going to include my 10/12. Because 5/6 is equal to 10/12 plus my 1/12 equals 10 plus 1 equals 11 over 12. And there you go. And I'm only 1/12 away from a whole. Those are the only problems you needed to work on tonight. Wanted you to get help, practice on those. If you didn't complete anything else, go back to my video last night so that you can finish those up, and also on the story problems, because that was your homework for last night. Tomorrow we're going to be working on subtracting fractions with unlike denominators, because we have to move into mixed numbers as well. And then we start multiplication. So right now we're a couple of days behind, so we really need to see what we can do to catch up tomorrow. All right, you guys have a great night. I shall see you tomorrow. Thanks for being so great at what you do. Bye.